Well, I mean, let's be honest. Anything's better than Etsy these days. A couple of comments that I've had over the last month or so, definitely a few weeks, it has kind of prompted me to make this video because there seems to be this myth or this misunderstanding that you need a large audience in order to make sales or to drive traffic to a website. But I'm not just talking about a website, I'm also talking about Etsy, because a lot of people can't afford a standalone website and they just use Etsy as a cart for hire or as a website. I know I used to, and it can work, but you still have to drive your own traffic to it, and the thought is that you need a massive audience in order to do that, and I'm about to burst your bubble. You're welcome. But I'm not trying to be a pain about it. I'm trying to sort of inspire you, or to quote Jack Conte from a recent video, energize you. Are you feeling energized yet? No, neither am I, but we're going to do what we can. Hello, I am Kim. If you are new here, this nonsense is the Coffee and Craft podcast. What that means is that I chat about all things to do with handmade business, running a handmade business, and I drink coffee. It's tea, but you know, and I'm not crafting, but sometimes I craft, and the idea is to keep you company while you work or craft. I do have to kind of put it out there at the very beginning. These are chattier videos. They are meant to be run in the background while you do something. So if you're expecting brevity and to the pointness, gonna burst your bubble again. Oh, and I probably should point out as well, if it isn't obvious from my channel, I'm coming at this from a handmade business perspective. So don't shout at me if everything that I'm about to say doesn't work for you, because I'm a handmade business owner. This is all I know. But know it, I do. So let's crack on, shall we? So the audience that you need in order to drive traffic and sell to doesn't need to be huge. It needs to be engaged. Your audience also needs to be the right people, and I have spoken about this a dozen times. I've even made a course on it, because it's like, it could have been a sexy course that everybody wants, but no, I made it about speaking to the right people and how to attract the right people. Because if, say for example, you have a handmade, say this is a handmade mug, it's not, but say it is, and you want to sell these handmade mugs, you need to sell to people who like to drink coffee, who like to drink tea, who maybe have a bit of a problem with buying pretty mugs. What you don't want to be doing then is making videos and content for, say, gardeners, unless there's a crossover. But even then, you wouldn't specifically want to go for gardeners. You would want to go for the coffee cup collectors, the tea drinkers, etc., etc. And if they happen to be gardeners, then there would be a crossover there. But your focus wouldn't be the gardening. Do you see what I mean? Because if you did, you wouldn't sell your cups. Two very different audiences. So you need to make sure that your audience is engaged and made up of the right people. It's not the quantity, it's the quality, darling. In fact, actually, I think I'm a good example of this at work, because this here channel, Kim Bliss, I talk about running a handmade business. So you're not necessarily going to be into buying a project bag for knitting unless there's a crossover there and you are also a knitter and you find yourself in the market for a project bag. But for the most part, the audience here are not going to be the audience that I try to sell that stuff to, which is why I'm not always like promoting that stuff on this channel, because I love you dearly, but you're not the right people. So I tend to do that. There's a lot of finger waving here. I tend to do that on my Instagram account, my mailing list, because obviously, and my other YouTube channel, which is teeny tiny. My point is, the reason that channel is so very different is because I am talking to very different people. My Beech Tree Handmade channel, which is teeny tiny and has under 500 subscribers, my goal with that is so very different to my goal with this channel, and the content that I make is so very different because the people that I'm talking to are also different. Those people are people who would be in the market for some of these. But even if they're not in the market for them, they're certainly in the market for listening to me waffle on about my attempts at crochet, knitting, etc., etc. Emphasis on the word attempts, and we'll move on. So to bring it back to the whole point of this video, why do I think that YouTube is king when it comes to generating sales and visits, perhaps better than Etsy itself? Well, because it is. I think it's because it just does all of the things that you need it to do. You can talk to people on it, so you can build a community. Your work, your videos, they're more evergreen. So your content has a much, much longer shelf life, which makes it worth your time, and that's important. My YouTube channel, the other one, the smaller one now, this one as well, but I'm talking about that small one, it has helped to build my mailing list, my social media, and just generally the community around my business, which isn't bad for a teeny tiny channel, but I've said this a dozen times and I'm going to keep on saying it. It is the tide that raises all ships. If you think about social media as being a ship, and your mailing list being a ship, and your other things being ships, it's like YouTube it just raises them all. Put it this way, on my Instagram account I have got more new followers through YouTube than Instagram itself. Instagram is a whole thing at the moment. I'm not going to get into that because I'm definitely not an expert, but that's just worth noting if Instagram is important to you too. But yeah, that smaller channel brings me in a steady stream of regular sales, and what's probably more important is that I don't have to have my foot flat on the gas in order to get those sales. They're more organic, and yeah, I don't have to burn myself out to get them. And if you watch my last video, you'll know exactly why that's so important right now. So I get why it's so hard to want to start something new, like creating a website such as Shopify or Wix or Squarespace, or even starting a YouTube channel from scratch. But not having a huge audience, or even any kind of an audience, shouldn't be the thing that holds you back. And in the case of a website, sure, driving your own traffic can sound daunting, but if you have an Etsy shop, I'm assuming you know now that you have to do that there anyway, so there's no difference. This, again, no pressure to get a website. This is not a video saying you must get a website. I do think you should work towards it if you're not there yet. But if you're not there yet, Etsy is perfectly fine, especially if you're treating it, as I said, as a cut for hire. It just makes so much sense that if you already enjoy making videos and you are a creative person and you even just like the sound of the creativity that you can get through the video creation, because it is a whole thing, if you're not on YouTube already, I cannot recommend it enough. It's free. It's the tide that raises all ships, and it gives you something back for the time and the energy that you put in. And in this day and age of the internet and burnout and all of the bloody things, I think that is golden. Put it this way, I'd still be on here making videos even if I wasn't monetized. I would probably obviously the revenue cut would be a bit of an issue, and I might have to get myself a part-time job, but I would still be making videos because that's how I got started on YouTube. I just wanted a creative outlet, and it scratched an itch, and it hooked me in, and it's not let me go. And now I'm trying to get you join us here. Now, obviously, there are going to be some of you that are bristling at the thought of having to make videos, and you're like, no, Kim, would you just get off that YouTube train again? My God. Don't worry. I'm sorry that this video particularly has been so YouTube heavy, but you're watching me on YouTube, so just saying, I've got a point. I know that making videos isn't for everyone. It's just like coffee or tea. You either like it or you don't. I'm speaking more to the people who kind of want to, but they're letting their fear hold them back, or they don't want to try it. But what's the worst that can happen? You can try it, realise that you don't like it, or realise that it's not quite for you, or that now is not the right time, and you can just put it to one side, or just drop it. So yes, YouTube, I absolutely love it. And this is the sort of stuff that we get into over on my Patreon account, which is just specifically, before anybody jumps over there, it's specifically for handmade business owners who want to have a YouTube channel around their business. It's not anything more than that. So if you go over there and then you're like, oh God, this is a bit YouTube heavy, it is. It's literally YouTube. So quite niche. But I am having so much fun over there because I've finally got a group of people that I can brain dump and get really nerdy over this stuff with. And I've not had that for all of the years that I've been on YouTube. Tried to get my husband involved, he's not interested. So I made my own community there. And if you are a patron over there, thank you for joining me. You have no idea how happy and how you have filled up this little cup of mine. Yeah. Mwah. If you are interested in hearing some YouTube stuff, but you don't want to commit to a membership, don't worry. I'm not going to be selling you on the membership. I do actually have some one-off masterclass videos on there, which are basically, every time I need to concentrate, I need to put my tea down, but I want to drink it, so I'm torn. Yeah, we've basically come through some sort of foundation stage stuff with building a YouTube channel from scratch. And what I've done is I've sort of condensed some of the videos to make one-off masterclasses, and I've kept them nice and cheap because I know that it's challenging at the moment. So I wanted to make them as accessible as possible while at the same time making it worth my time. So if you are interested in planning your YouTube channel and really getting focused on who you're going to be making videos for, or more in the nuts and bolts of the actual YouTube channel setup, I have 2 masterclasses available should you want to, and should you not want to, that is cool too. But if you are interested, you can go and there's a link in the description somewhere. You can go over there and have a look around and just get an idea for the vibe there. It's much the same as this, I'm going to be honest. And I've been having fun lately going deeper into the topics of titles and thumbnails, because now that we've got that foundation stuff over and done with, I can focus on that. And I've created a new chat room. There's a chat section and you can make different chat parts. Words. But I've made one specifically for thumbnails and titles so that we can share the different titles and thumbnail ideas that we have and get feedback on it. That's been fun. But also YouTube have, here's a top tip for all of you if you're interested, YouTube have recently launched a new tool which they've called Test and Compare, and you can, when you load up your video, you can load up 2 or 3 different thumbnails and they will test them. It's all automatic and they will basically go with the one that gets the most watch time or something. I don't know why it's watch time and not click-through rate, but and I've been talking about that over there as well, and I will be sharing the results of some of my own tests with the patrons because I think they're the only ones who actually are interested. So I'm sorry if this has been boring. I'm really sorry, but as you can tell, I get quite excited about talking about this sort of thing. So kind of had to create my own little community where I could do that with like-minded people. It would be lovely to see you over there, but if YouTube and video making is not your thing, no worries at all. I will be here every week with this nonsense. And on that note, I hope you're well. I hope you're enjoying the weather, and I will see you next week. Ta-ra!